sideways, boys in the days. Sittin' sideways, boys in the days. Sittin' sideways, boys in the days. On the Sunday night.
Okay, welcome to episode 25 of Sittin' Sideways. My name is Reezy. I'm your host. You can find me on Twitter at ReezySeason, ReezySZN. And I'm here with my boy Ike.
Yo, what's up? My name is Ike Cuellar. I'm on Twitter X at Ike Cuellar. That's IKECUELLAR. Make sure you guys are tapped into our podcast, man, on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe and follow us on our Twitter at Sittin' Sideways _, and that's with no G.
Twitter, X, whatever Elon decided to call it this week. There's some other new thing on it, Grok, some AI thing. I don't know. I've been ignoring that too. Anyway, ignoring the degradation of Twitter, let's talk about Rockets basketball. We're back. We haven't recorded in a minute. Well, we have recorded in a minute, but we're not going to talk about it. We haven't published in a minute. And since we last talked, the Knicks filed a protest in their loss against us because Jalen Brunson fouled. It was Aaron Holiday, right?
Yeah.
Fouled Aaron Holiday at the buzzer. The Knicks got called for it. For once, we weren't the ones screwed at the end of the game. I was fine with it, obviously. I didn't think the NBA was going to fold to their protest or whatever, but we found out yesterday, day before yesterday, that the NBA was like, nope, we're not gonna replay the game, take the L. Pretty standard for Knicks fans. You think they'd be used to taking the L, but what are your thoughts? I live in New York.
Exactly. I thought it was fucking hilarious how they were bitching and complaining about it the next day, and the media was all over it. We heard Kendrick Perkins call it the worst call in NBA history, and we know he's a company man. They pay him to say shit like that, but come on, bro. When have we ever benefited from bad officiating? Never. We have to deal with that shit every game. And yeah, we complain about it, but we're kind of used to it, right? Because we're the Rockets. We just get shit all the time. But I thought it was hilarious, and I love it how they were just bitching and complaining. Just get over it, man. It's one game to a Western Conference team. Y'all be all right.
In the regular season too. It's not like a high stakes game or whatever. I will say, we say that as Rockets fans, we get a shit whistle, which we do. We can pull up the clips and prove it, but we did benefit from, James Harden's ability to draw fouls for a couple of years. So I know you're going to get some pushback on saying that we don't usually get the whistle that we want. That being said, yeah, even last year, you remember when Eric Gordon fouled De'Aaron Fox at the end of the Sacramento game? It was the same situation. It was a buzzer beater. He got fouled, bailed out on the last second shot, and he hit the free throws to win the game. So it goes both ways. It happens. We didn't file a protest for that, but we filed protests before and we've gotten rejected before. It's fine. It's a regular season game. The Knicks will recover.
If you remember,
Mhm.
Reezy, when we had Harden, when he had the dunk against the Spurs that went in, they didn't count that. Even with replay, they went back and looked at it. They said they didn't count it, and we protested. Nothing happened. They're like, you guys just got to deal with it.
Yeah.
So
I think the reasoning was it was early enough in the game that it wasn't a substantial, enough of an event to alter the ending of the game, but it was a 1-point game. I don't know what else they can.
Yeah, if they're not gonna change a made basket, they're not gonna change too much. So
yeah,
you know what I mean.
It is what it is. Next up, we had the trade deadline. Stone didn't do anything, which is simultaneously expected and disappointing. We've talked about it before. He prioritizes his optionality. He doesn't like to get locked into, I guess long-term contracts or whatever it is. And he's fine not pulling the trigger on trades. I think the issue that sort of came up the week of the trade deadline was when there are obvious needs on the team, why didn't he make a move? I'm kind of fine with it. We know we're not going to really make any noise this offseason, this postseason. So, is it really a priority to, flip an asset? Especially because people were talking about Jalen, right? is it really a priority to like make a decision and move Jalen to win like 5 more games this season? I don't think it is. And I think the target that a lot of people were talking about was Mikal Bridges, and he's not playing well since the All Star or since the trade deadline anyway. So like, really, I'm not too upset about it. I would have liked to see moves just because it's exciting to see trades. And it's been a little boring, demoralizing to have these close losses lately. So that would have been cool to have. But like, ultimately, I'm not that mad. How do you feel about it? About a quiet trade deadline?
Man, I'm okay with it. I mean, because this year we weren't really supposed to win, Reezy, and that will be next year.
Mm-hmm.
We're trying to win for sure. But if we had, a couple of players this trade deadline that just passed, I mean, like you said, we'll probably get like 5, 6 more games as dubs, and then that'll be it. Like we weren't gonna make it into the playoffs. The way things are looking right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think because some of the best deals that you make are the deals that you don't make, if that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? Um, because a lot of general managers can come to you, requesting player X or Y, but then they want you to add an extra asset to it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And why do that when you don't have to? And you could potentially maybe like raise his value a little bit. I
Mm-hmm.
know a lot of people will disagree with that, but you never know. He can, player X or Y can start playing better, towards the end of the season and raise his value a little bit. And it works out for everybody. It works out for the team, for the player, and even for the other team, man. So I think it was a good move, just staying still the way we are because we got picks that we can flip this summer, maybe picks and a young player to acquire talent, the big star that we desperately need. So I was fine with it.
Yeah, I mean, people are even saying like Donovan Mitchell might want out of Cleveland, and if they're willing to take like Brooklyn picks and Jalen, or I don't know, some combination of additional assets, I don't think it wouldn't just be Brooklyn picks and Jalen, but whatever combination of assets, if that's a move we can make this offseason, I think Donovan Mitchell moves the needle for us. Like that's a true superstar, or at least, I mean, yeah, he's a superstar in my opinion.
Correct.
Um, so yeah, like I think there's more interesting opportunities now that we haven't locked into anything in the trade deadline. There's like not you got Fred, you got Dylan, but there's not really like a big money contract on the books that's not movable or like short, you know? Dylan Brooks is playing he was playing up to that contract, well above that contract. He was making it look like a steal the first month, I'll say that. And Fred, I think it's 2 years with the third year option, right?
Yeah,
Team option. So
the
that's
third
that's
year.
another movable contract. So yeah, I'm not stressed. We got options going into the offseason. We got assets. Draft picks looking good. Brooklyn pick is at like number 8. So I'm fine with that. But yeah, did you have anything else on the trade deadline you wanted to discuss? Anything specifically?
No, that's about it, man.
All right, we'll keep moving then. So the other big talking point that the Rockets had was that going into the All Star break, Ime said he might change the starting lineup. That didn't happen. We came out of the All Star break, and the starting lineup has remained the same. I don't think that I didn't expect him to change it, but I'm confused as to like why light that fire and then not do anything about it. But what are your thoughts? Why do you think he went about it the way he did, or what was that all about?
I think he really just said that just to let everyone know that it's been on his mind and
Mm-hmm.
he's really looking to different lineups and rotations, how to make the team better. But, ultimately, I think that was a good move because, not saying that it would, but what if it would affect Jalen's confidence, right? If you put him on the bench and then move Cam or Amin Thompson to the lineup, and then they don't look good with the starters, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then now you have to flip flop and then switch them back, and now it's a big mess. So even though they're not in the starting lineup like a lot of us, Rocket fans want Cam and Amin to be in, um, they're still getting a lot of valuable minutes. And that's one of the few things this year that, Rocket fans can get excited about. Every time I'm watching the games and these guys are coming in, I'm like, look out for some highlights, right? Look out for some sick passes from our
Mm-hmm.
men, like he's been doing. So I think that was a good move by Ime, just keeping it where it's at right there. And him coming out and saying that, Reezy, it just letting the media and everyone know, like, hey, I understand, where this is coming from. Like, I'm looking at different things here and there, but ultimately, I thought that was the right move.
Yeah, I think now that you mention it, just like kind of letting people know that he's thinking about it, it could have just as been like it could have just as likely have been whatever. Chances are he was just sending a message to Jalen. Um, but like, do you think if do you think if they had benched him and brought Cam off the into the starting lineup, um, do you think that the him playing better against second units would have helped his confidence more, or do you think it like moving to the bench would have knocked his confidence more? Because I feel like if he does become the sixth man and he turns into like Jamal Crawford, right? No one's complaining. Like even Jalen's not complaining. That's
Oh
a
yeah,
Hall of Fame career.
oh yeah,
So
that would.
like I want to explore it without it being like a demotion, you know?
Yeah, I feel you.
It's hard.
No, but I definitely think that it would have helped his confidence. Just seeing your shot going in, bro. It don't matter who you're playing against, helps you, right? It
Mm-hmm.
helps you get into a rhythm, uh, getting your confidence up, and just being in attack mode when you're in the game. Because when you're a two guard, that's your job, right? It's scoring the basketball,
Mm-hmm.
and I think it would have helped them, but you know, there's a lot of different things that can happen to these young guys that can really affect them. And once they check out on you, it's over, bro. Like it could be a
Yeah.
shit show, right? We've seen it before, not from Jalen, but from other guys in the NBA. And you don't want that kind of mess, on this team right now, especially like the way we've been playing. You just want to, have everybody's vibes up and try to continue to get better and developing the right way. So yeah, man, I agree with you. That wouldn't be a bad thing for Jalen at all.
Yeah. And like we have our like suggestions, our ideas or whatever that we feel could help Jalen. As fans, obviously we're not coaches, we're not like analysts or anything. We've never played in at that level. You know, we played at organized basketball. We haven't played at that level. Obviously, organized basketball as a civilian is different than like playing as an NBA player. There's a reason these guys get paid what they get paid. They're playing in a different stratosphere. But
Millions, yeah.
having said all that and qualified our opinion enough, what do you think he can do to like boost his confidence, get some regularity going, just like make an impact on the team so that people aren't just like get this guy out of here, get some assets for him, move him, whatever it is, bring in somebody who can contribute, whatever it is. What do you think Jalen can do to help his case?
Well, really, man, I think that really to better his game, just to for him to simplify the things that, like, for him to get to have success,
Mm-hmm.
just to simplify the game.
Mm-hmm.
And what I mean by that is maybe you could start cutting off the ball, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like we saw the great chemistry that KJ Martin had with Shingun last year, where he was getting tons of lobs and tons of points just cutting off the ball.
Mm-hmm.
But it takes like a high IQ basketball player to know how and where to cut. You know what I'm saying? When Shingun is getting doubled. So man, you can have like a million coaches tell you to do this whenever someone's being doubled and to cut the right time and the right place. But if you don't do it in the game, you know what I'm saying? Like you're not learning from the film, then how you're going to improve. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And also like another thing is the catch and shoot. Like we talked about it before. I think it's really underrated skill because it doesn't take that long to do it. You don't have to use no dribble. The defense is really at its mercy because they don't have no time to go out there and contest a shot.
Mhm.
We look at like Steph Curry and Klay Thompson. That's why those guys been so good because they have that skill, and they're just really good at it, and the defense can't guard them, bro. So I think like just using for as an example, those two things, he can get off to a better start. You know what I'm saying? Cutting off the ball, getting points instead of like always getting the dribble handoff and going ISO all the time, which is a bad play. You know what I'm saying? Because the defense is just there watching you. So those that's my thoughts about it, Reezy.
Yeah, I think that going ISO, especially early in the game, so many times because he plays aggressively at the beginning of the game to get going, which is a good thing. But he goes ISO so often, he dribbles the air out of the ball. He's fatigued by like halftime. If he's just catching and shooting and cutting off ball, then all of his energy can go into playing defense, which is at that point you are now a 3 and D player with incredible speed in transition. How are you not like an ideal shooting guard at that point?
Facts.
You don't need to beat guys on the dribble. You're fast enough to beat them on a cut, beat them on a backdoor cut, beat them on a baseline cut, whatever it is. I don't know, man. I'm not a coach, but like this, it just seems so obvious, like watching as a fan, that he can use his speed without the ball. He doesn't need to be, because he turns it over so often with the dribble. And even like last game during the Suns game, I tweeted out, I was like, bro, your hands made of butter,
Yeah.
because like 3 possessions in a row, it wasn't even like, oh, it slipped, whatever. It was just like 3 possessions in a row. Ball's like whoop, gone, like up in the air. Like it's one thing to get stripped. It's one thing to get like to run into good defense. It's another thing to just lose the ball. And like it's fine if you don't have a dribble as a shooting guard. We're not trying to make him be a combo guard. Not everybody needs to be James Harden. You know, Jalen doesn't need to be a heliocentric offensive engine. He doesn't need to be that. He can get a couple of pick and rolls here with Sengun. Cool. He can do that already. That's fine. But he doesn't need to be dribbling the air out of the ball and like crossing dudes up and losing the ball out of bounds every other play. It's bringing down his efficiency. It's killing the team on turnovers. Like, just make the motherfucker run. We have other dudes who can pass.
There was a stat, Reezy, where it showed every time he cuts and that he gets a pass,
Mm-hmm.
he averages like 1.35 points per possession, but he averages less than one cut a game. Like he never does it. Why not take advantage of that? You have the quickness to do it, you have the athleticism to do it. It's just right there for him. You know what I mean? So I really think that he could, average at least like five more points just off of that,
Mm-hmm.
easily. So
Yeah.
hopefully,
Oh, sorry. Go
go
ahead.
ahead. No, I said hopefully he can, do little things like that to just, improve his efficiency while
Mhm.
he's in the game, man.
Yeah, yeah, that makes sense. And like, it makes sense when when you give me that stat, it matches the eye test, right? So like, who is arguing against Jalen cutting more? Nobody is. It's just not happening. Like he's not doing it or they're not pushing it in practice in the system, which we'll get into Ime's system at some point. I'm gonna let him finish up the season before I really dive into what the fuck Ime's been up to.
Mhm.
But another coach is about to catch some strays. We'll get to that. So that's Jalen. We'll leave Jalen alone now. We got into him a little bit. I will say this. I said I'll give him until All Star break. We're well past All Star break now. It's been a couple of games past All Star break. I'm not ready to like say he's a bust, but like this is disappointing. This is officially like I'm let down by Jalen, which who gives a fuck about me being let down? But that's where I'm at now. Um, I still think there's a path towards being a star. I don't think anybody with his physical gifts can be like completely written out, barring like something catastrophic happening to his career. Uh, I don't know if it'll be like the cutting and the defense and the shoot, like catch and shoot that we said, but no, I've said this to you before. No superstar followed like a predetermined path. Like there's not one way to become a superstar. There's not even like a consistent way to become a superstar. Like KD super fucking skinny. We'd never seen that shit before. LeBron, like pure physical specimen. We've never seen that before. Giannis going from KD looking to LeBron looking. We've never seen that before. Jokic looking like a polar bear that just got out of hibernation. He's about to get his third MVP in a row. And if he does, or not in a row, but he's about to get his third MVP. And if he doesn't, it's going to be to somebody who deserves it less. So like everybody who is a superstar now had sort of an unorthodox path to becoming that superstar. So can Jalen still do it? Yeah. Do I think he's on that path, on that trajectory? No, I don't anymore at all. But that's where I'm at. But he can make the changes and still do it.
Yeah. Just to share some positive news, he did have 34 against the Suns, this past game. The shooting percentage wasn't there how we like, but at that point you just want somebody to like get you back in the game. And early in the game he was shooting it well.
Yeah.
But it was a physical game, to say the least.
Yeah, when you said he had 34, I was gonna say, yeah, it wasn't like an efficient 34, but he had like 21 at halftime, and that was an efficient 21. So credit where credit is due. He kept us in the game that first half. And he could not miss. He was hitting his shots. Speaking of people who can't hit their shots, Amen Thompson. He's not a great shooter right now, but boy, if he develops a shot, it's gonna get ugly. I'm telling you right now, if he gets his 3-point shot to like 36%, and if he can shoot like 45 from the field as a total, top 3-point guard in the league. I don't give a fuck. Top 3. That height with that vision and that like fearlessness, the physical abilities, all of it. If he can just shoot, if he can be a little bit of a threat from outside, we're cooking with gas. Where you at with Amen?
Man, Amen Thompson is my favorite player on the team right now, bro. Like, bro is just so exciting to watch. Every game, you're gonna see a highlight, like a sick block, a crazy dunk, ridiculous pass.
Highlight
And
defense.
really,
I'm
one
sorry,
thing.
not to interrupt. Not to interrupt. I'm sorry.
Mhm,
But highlight defense is one of
mhm.
the greatest parts of watching basketball. Like, and we missed out on that for so long as Rockets fans. So I'm glad you brought up that he has insane blocks and just like insane defense in general. Sorry, not to interrupt, but to continue.
Nah, you're good, brother. But another thing that I like that he does, bro, on defense is like his instinct to come over and help.
Mm-hmm.
Like he knows when to do it. The IQ is there for our man Thompson. I mean, even when you look at the passes, but it explains why he can fill up the stat sheet so fast. He's like a walking double double. He can get assists, blocks, rebounds, points, and that explains too why he has such a high plus when he enters the game,
Mm-hmm.
because he affects it in so many different ways.
Both sides of
The
the court.
length is there, the
Mm-hmm.
speed is there. But I mean, I think the two things that he can improve on is the shooting and the handle. Right, he just needs to get the handle a little bit more tight, and I think he'll be set. But for right now, man, like look out, this guy's going to be special. And I can't wait till we see him run more of that point guard position, because right now we've seen him more a little bit in off ball more than point
Mm-hmm.
guard position. But either way, I'm happy just him being in the game, bro. To be honest, like
Yeah, just seeing Amen come into the game, he's going to impact it in a positive way for the team. He's very similar to Tari, and it's unfortunate that Tari's missed like I think 35 something games this season. It's unfortunate that he's missed that many games because him plus Amen plus Jabari, like that's an insane defensive lineup. And like not to leave out Sengun and Fred, they're in the starting lineup. They're playing the most minutes for their position on the team. And our defense is ranked 6th. So they're not like fucking slouches either. People are like, oh, there's only one real like impact defensive player, and it's Dylan Brooks. Dylan Brooks hasn't been playing great defense. He hasn't been playing great defense or offense for the last month. He needs to get it together, get his head in the game. But Amen is an impactful defensive player Tari is also an impactful defensive player. Tari hasn't been playing, but yeah, seeing Amen already rookie year having these defensive instincts, these offensive instincts, and just needing to clean up like the technical skill aspects of it, that's the stuff he can develop. Like handle can be developed, shooting can be developed. Those are both not
Yep.
like neither of those is basketball IQ. None of those is like feel. There's nothing intangible about those. Bad shooters become good shooters, and bad dribblers can become competent dribblers. So I'm not too worried about Amen long term. I'm very excited by the prospect, but Jesus God, let him get like 36% from three. Next, Cam Whitmore. Cam's not taking no shit more. Like this dude wants to
I love
kill
that.
Devin Booker. He's like ready every time he sees it. He's like, I hate this dude. I hate how he talks. I hate how he dresses. The way that what is that? Have you seen that Vine where he's like, the way that he doesn't even like to smile? Whack.
Yeah.
That's Cam Whitmore talking about Devin Booker. He thinks Devin
Yeah.
Booker is whack as shit, which a lot of people do, but Cam Whitmore in particular fucking hates this man. What are your thoughts?
Man, I tweeted last game, bro. Like, man, y'all got Cam fucked up if y'all think he's gonna take shit from anybody.
Especially not from
It don't
Devin
matter
Booker,
who
though.
it is. Like this, yeah, man. Like this guy looks like a linebacker. Like I would never want to fuck with Cam, bro. He looks like he would just beat the shit out of us. And that's what he said, bro. I don't know if you saw like
The lip
the
reading or whatever,
video
the
that came
caption.
out that shows what they were saying. Yeah, yeah. And he was like, "Man, I'll beat the fuck out of you," or something like that. He said, like bro, was serious, and I can't wait to see it again tonight, man. Hopefully, you know what I'm saying. He gets into him more tonight, man. Like talks
Yeah.
more shit, get in his face, and just let him know, like, man, do not fuck with me, bro. I'm the wrong one. That ain't it. That's not the
Exactly.
move.
Like that's the energy we need from this team. Cause like motherfuckers been talking so much shit the last 3 years. Like Draymond being like, oh, they've been down the last couple of years. They've been down bad, like historically bad. All right, calm down, Draymond. You've been down historically bad too in the last 3 years. Just because you got one title in those last 3 years. We didn't forget about them tanking years, motherfucker. When Clay and Curry were out, and y'all were like what second worst in the league. We didn't forget Draymond.
Yeah.
And then who else was talking shit? Oh, Shaq. When he was like, "Oh, I like Sengun. I hope he gets to a good team like the Lakers." Quit fucking capping. Lakers are not a good team, and nobody wants to see Sengun over there. All right, what are you gonna do? Trade us AD? No thanks.
Yeah.
So like
We don't want him.
the regular disrespect that we get handed by national media, by other players, etc., whatever. I appreciated that last year Jalen didn't take it from the Hawks, and I appreciate this year Cam is not taking it from the Suns. I'm cool with that. Pick a fight. Like if it's stand your ground, like don't talk shit to me, like don't push me around on the court. I'm fine with those fights. If it's Dylan Brooks like punching people in the nuts, look pass on that. I don't need that shit happening. Like that doesn't add anything to the game for me. But if it's like this type of shit where it's like, no, we're not back. You can't come into our house and like punk us. It's not gonna happen. I'm 100% here for that shit. Like I'll start screaming from the stands. Like that's where I'm at with that shit. So yeah, that was goated moment. That's gonna like Cam versus Devin Booker. Just the fact that he's like, as a rookie, not taking shit from Devin Booker. Like all NBA All Star Devin Booker went to the finals. Devin Booker. He's not taking any shit. If it was me and I was
And
like,
don't forget,
you going up against somebody in your field like at that level, where do you get the fucking audacity to talk that kind of shit and be like, I'll beat the fuck out of you?
yeah,
Wild.
exactly.
That's
And don't forget,
that's the energy we need. Sorry, go ahead.
don't forget the time where he scored over LeBron James and he put the ball in his chest, bro. That was another, highlight of the year. And I couldn't believe that shit happened. Like
Where does he
that
get the
was a
fucking
real quote.
audacity?
You know what I mean?
It's that chip on his shoulder,
That was
from dropping.
sick, man. Like, yeah.
It's
Like
gotta
watching
be
that live, I lost my fucking mind.
yeah. It's gotta be like that fact that he's like, I almost didn't go in the first round. Like I almost wasn't drafted. Like he has to be feeling like I got this opportunity just like by the skin of my teeth. I need to like never let it go. He's just like 100% fight. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
that's just his composition is 100%. He's got that dog in him. Shout out to Rohan. So last player I wanted to focus on specifically, but we'll mention some others. Tari, because he's had this mysterious leg injury for a couple months. Are you concerned?
I am a little bit because it's been so long that since he's been with us, since he played a game. How long has it been, Reezy? Since like
It's
January
like November,
1st or
dog.
something like that, right?
Really? Didn't he? No, no,
Damn.
no, no. He came back in November, I think, and he played through like December. Let me see. I'll find out. You keep talking.
Yeah. No, but I mean, when you don't have a guy like that, it's gonna affect your team in numerous ways, bro. Like everybody is gonna feel it, and that's part of the reason why some of these guys been getting minutes. But I mean, you look at a guy that can defend, rebound, block shots, can sometimes guard the four.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's very, it
He's an
it's a
essential
move
player.
that can really, yeah, exactly. And we're hurting from this, bro. Like you
Mm-hmm.
see it. You know what I'm saying? We're struggling in a lot of close games. We lost to Portland, lost to Memphis. A lot of these games we should have won and we would have won if we had a Tari Eason.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he was just one of those injuries that just really like fucked up our season, to be honest, man.
Yeah, dog. I'm looking at this right now, and when he went out, it was January 1st. Like you said, he went out. Um,
Hmm.
that was game 31. And I think at that point, let me see if I can find out what our record was. Yeah, at that point we were 16 and 15. Okay. He went out. Since then, we are now 25 and 34. So we went like 9 and
Yeah,
19 since he went out. We were 16 and 15. We went 9 and 19. Is that right?
yeah,
What the fuck? Holy shit.
I know. And like
That's like a
I
clear
remember,
correlation. So you're right. He's essential. Like,
and
damn.
I'm not saying like, oh, we would have made the playoffs if we had a Tari Eason or
I'm
nothing
saying
like
that.
that. But
We would have made the
yeah,
playoffs. What the fuck? Because okay,
yeah,
16 and 15. Like I'm not saying sustainable, but like we could hit the play in, like close to that, right? What would that would be like 44 and like 38, 42 and
hmm
40, something like that. Right? That's playing, I feel.
exactly. I
Damn.
mean, you just like understand the defensive versatility that this guy brings to the team and how he can guard those perimeter players that score 25, 30. Not really lock them down, but really contain them. That's what he does. And that's all that we needed to win some of those close games. That would have made all the difference in the world, bro. Like, you can't put a price on Tari Eason. I remember earlier there was rumors about him being traded, but they came out right away and said, "Man, Tari's not going anywhere." And there's a reason why they were so quick to say that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think that man, we are the sixth best defense without Tari. Shit. We need him
Wow.
back. We need him to get back.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll leave it at that for Tari. The last topic I had. Oh, real quick. Just want to shout out. Shengun's been killing it. All right. Let's dead this narrative about him not being able to be like solid defensively. When he has any sort of help from the perimeter, he's solid, super solid. All right. He doesn't even have Tari right now to like help him out, bail him out in the paint. And he doesn't have a real backup center. And we're still the sixth ranked defense. So if the sixth ranked defense isn't good enough to win the finals, then like it's the problem is your offense. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yep.
I'm gonna leave it at that. The last topic we had was Stone and whether or not we said at the beginning of the season he was on the hot seat. Now that Silas was gone, has his seat gotten hotter? Do you think?
I think so, Reezy, because when you look at the last 2 years, we really haven't had a backup big. Like there's lack of size, lack of shooting on the team,
Mm-hmm.
and when when you're already a small team and your best player is Sengun, that means you're really relying on other guys that are inefficient
Mm-hmm.
and without being able to shoot the ball, you're not going to be very successful. Like having shooters on the team, the way the NBA is now, is really imperative, bro. Like you can't have a team with no shooting. You're
Mm-hmm.
not going to be in a lot of games just by the math of it. You know what I mean? The analytics side of it, especially when you play like the great teams like the Boston Celtics,
Mm-hmm.
who not only shoot a lot of threes but they make them.
Yeah.
Like that's almost L all the way, dude. Like 10 out of 10 times, that's going to be an L.
Just
And
like
now,
even if you're scoring at the same clip, you're not gonna be able to score at the same like volume just because you're if you can't take the threes at the same rate that they do, you're only scoring 60%, 66% as much as they are. Like
yes,
you're never gonna outshoot that discrepancy.
exactly. And then the lack of size, like that means Shingun is pretty much doing everything in the paint. Like the responsibility of him being a rim protector is all on him, and
Mm-hmm.
that's not fair.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like everybody needs to contribute and help him, but when you play these guys like Valanciunas, Chet, fucking Wemby, it's gonna be tough, bro. Like a lot of those times you got to go with big lineups, and we don't have the size. I mean, did we really think that Jock Landale was going to be the answer to this? I don't know if they expected him to play a lot of minutes this year, but we should have had a big man from like 2 years ago, bro. A
Mm-hmm.
solid one. I know we did trade for Steven Adams, but he's out for the year. You know what I'm saying? So that don't really count because we
Mm-hmm.
can't utilize him this year. Um, but yeah, man, I think it's gotten a little harder. I still give him probably another year. You know what I'm saying? Another year and see what
Mm-hmm.
happens. See what talent he can acquire in the off season. If he can flip some of those picks. But yeah, man, I would say so, man. Just a little bit harder.
Yeah, I think it's gotten hotter as well. I think I think there's like a you gotta frame it in the perspective that like who's making the decision, right? Tillman's making the decision. The ownership has to make the decision on Stone. So I don't think they're gonna move on from him until it's like, oh, we're unexpectedly bad. Like we weren't expecting to be this bad. Like we were expecting way more. We were expecting to be in the playoffs. I think Ime kind of set that expectation where he was like, "Oh, I've never missed the playoffs, so we want to take that step here too." Like, yeah, that's cool and everything, but like before Ime said that, nobody was planning on making the playoffs. We were just like, well, let's see how good we can get, so Oklahoma doesn't get like a fantastic pick. That was it. So to say now, like, oh, we're not making the playoffs, Ime needs to be fired, Stone needs to be fired, like everybody needs to calm the fuck down, is what needs to happen. Um, as long as Tillman thinks everything's going to plan, Stone's job is safe. I think the seat is getting hotter because of the fans. I think 4 years into this thing, people are like, all right, let's wrap this shit up. You know, like let's start winning. Let's get to the playoffs, make some moves, address the concerns. Like you said, we've needed a backup big. We've needed shooting. These are not new issues that popped up because of like Tari's injury or something. Like we've needed this. We needed those same things in the offseason. So, um, yeah, his inability to fill those areas of need, like you said, you can say, oh, he made it, he signed Jock Landale. Did he really expect Jock Landale to be the like defensive stopper that we were gonna put in when Jonas Valanciunas was abusing Sengun? No, that was
Yes.
never what Jock Landale was gonna be. And to his credit, Sengun has been holding up. He's not getting bitched by anybody. Like
Yeah, he's on his own.
I think playing better, taking that 3rd-year leap has like built up his confidence to the point where he's like, nobody's talking shit to me anymore, or like nobody's getting away with it. Nobody's talking shit and not hearing back from me. So like physically, at least, he's making himself felt. Is it effective on defense? I don't know. The numbers say yes. I still think we need a backup big, just for those big, Embiid, Valanciunas, even like Hartenstein sometimes can like kind of bully Sengun a little bit, and I'm not trying to see that from Hartenstein. But yeah, I think that the seat is hotter. I don't think he's getting fired anytime soon. Like you said, I think he's got another year left before Tillman's like. Even then, in a year, I don't think it'll be like, oh, this hasn't gone according to plan. I think Tillman will be like, there's better options. He'll
Yeah.
probably promote Eli Whitis. If anything happens, I think that's what'll happen. But that's sort of it for this episode. It's kind of been a downer of an episode. I won't say it was this season's negativity episode, but it was kind of a damp, wet blanket ass episode.
Yeah. I mean, we're still fans, though, bro. You know what I'm saying? Because we're still gonna watch our team play and
Facts.
everything. So we're just talking like what we see. You know what I'm saying? It's not about like shitting on nobody or on the team, nothing like that. But
Yeah, we all want to see
I
Jalen do well.
I
Like,
want to ask you a question.
oh, go ahead, go ahead. I think you were a little bit lagged, but go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, I wanted to ask you, do you think it was a mismanagement of Tari's injury?
I don't think so because we our training staff has a good reputation around the league. Like it's considered one of the better medical staffs. And I know we have a partnership with like Memorial Hermann or some shit, and they handle all of the like scans, MRIs, diagnostics, all that stuff. So it's not like we skimped or something and like, took him to some backwoods ass doctor and was like, oh, put some staple in his meniscus and like let's play ball. It was professional ass doctors. I don't know if I would categorize that as mismanagement or something. Um, I'm a little concerned. I guess I didn't go into it. I asked you to answer it, but I never really answered it. I'm a little concerned
Hmm.
because they won't give it a name. They won't say what's wrong, which
That's why I brought it up.
it's
Yeah.
either bad and they don't want to let people know, or they don't know, which is also bad, and they don't want people to know that they don't know. So like, because if they know, they would just put a timetable down. They'd be like, he's shut down for the season, and that's fine. If you got to shut him
Yep.
down for the season, do it. We're not. There's nothing at stake right now anyway. Uh, yeah, I'm a little concerned. I don't know if I'd categorize it as like injury mismanagement or like whatever happened with Kawhi. Um, but there's some concerning. There's smoke, you know, and I hope there's not
Yeah.
fire, but there's smoke. So we'll see what
I
happens.
agree.
Other than that, oh yeah, I had one question. Ben Sullivan, what the fuck do you do?
I knew this was coming.
Like, we were so hyped to get this dude. I compared him to Chip Englund. Chip Englund, I'm sorry. I tweeted this out too a couple nights ago. Tillman Fertitta needs to like write a blank check, or call up Chip Englund and be like, "What is the number that it'll take to get you to move to Houston?" And I guarantee you, it's not going to be a lot because he lives in Oklahoma City right now. So find out what
Hmm.
that number is. Get that man to Houston because what the fuck is Ben Sullivan doing, dude? Like we were so hyped to get this shooting coach from Boston who revolutionized what was it, Derek White's shot or whatever. Jalen's shooting like a career worst. Amen Thompson hasn't progressed. A couple whatever we played the Suns last night and we popped off from the free throw line, which was sick to see. But like that was the exception. Every other game this season, we've shot like 60% from the free throw line. So like, what the fuck is he doing, huh? Like, what do you get paid for, tall ass motherfucker? Another motherfucker who's tall for nothing, like the rest of you, tall for nothing. So like, I don't
No,
know. They need
but
to hire like a real shooting coach, dog. I'm over it. People got me so hyped about this dude in the
in
offseason.
his
Oh, Ben
defense,
Sullivan, Ben Sullivan, Ben Sullivan. We're shooting like dog shit. We shot
yeah.
better. Like, we definitely shot better last year. Like, as a team. Sorry, what were you going to say?
No, in his defense though, like when you see Amin Thompson shoot a 3-pointer, because it's not a whole lot, he hesitates a lot.
Yeah.
And like he's not sure if he wants to shoot it, but he's so wide open that he's like, I have to shoot this because I'm so wide open. And it's like an awkward release that you could see the hesitation. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? So that I think something like that has to do more with the player than the actual coaching staff. And not just Amin Thompson, but like some of these guys, maybe their shooting mechanics are just bad, bro. Like, or like bad shots. Like Jalen likes to dribble a lot when he shoots threes.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying?
He's
Maybe
also not afraid of
that's
taking
not
the late
the
shot
way
clock
to go. That's why
3-pointer.
we,
Sorry, not to interrupt.
yeah. But that's why we brought up earlier that maybe a catch and shoot, for Jalen could be better. Like it could be, more efficient, a better percentage shot for him. So maybe that has to do more with the players.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? Just to show Ben a little love,
Shooting him
since
some
you like
bail.
to attack
Ah,
him. Yeah, you
nah,
like to
I'm
attack him
coming
in
for his
every
fucking neck.
episode.
No, I don't give a fuck. If I see him in public, I'm gonna ask him what he does for a living. And then when he tells me, I'm gonna ask him what he does for a living again. Because motherfucker, you are lying if you were saying you were shooting coach for the Rockets. Um,
I
yeah,
feel
well,
that.
I'll leave it at that. But damn, I mean, I've questioned it a couple of times this season, and they've responded. So let's see what happens. We got another game tonight against the Suns. We'll see how it goes. All right, yeah, I think that wraps it up for this episode. I'm gonna get this one out quick. Probably not gonna edit it too heavily. Um, I don't really. Oh, I have a question. Do you okay? This is gonna be like super long tangent, but people always say Oklahoma started their rebuild at the same time we did, right?
Mhm.
That's like the measuring stick that they use, or they say like OKC likes to say that they started at the same time because they made the playoffs for the last time, the same time we made the playoffs for the last time, right? Um, do you agree with that? Then do you agree that they started their rebuild at the same time? Because to me, if Shea is on that team and Shea is the centerpiece of the rebuild, they had him before that rebuild started. You know what I'm saying? So I
Yeah.
think their
No.
rebuild started with the Paul George trade because if you're
Yeah.
trading away a superstar, that's the start of the rebuild, right?
Yeah. I disagree with that. Yeah,
I
I
say when
disagree
we traded
because
Westbrook, that was the start of our rebuild, not when we traded
yeah,
James, because that's when the dominoes started falling. So
yeah,
they started blowing it up with Paul George. Just because you didn't finish blowing it up until you got Chet Holmgren doesn't mean your rebuild started when you got Chet Holmgren. You know what I'm saying? Like it
and
started with
didn't
Shea is still around, so
yeah,
I feel like that's got to
and
count
didn't
for that.
and didn't SGA play with Chris Paul in
Mm-hmm.
the bubble?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
so that kills everything, bro, because he had a great leader, a great point guard to work with, and he was already balling at that time. He was
Mm-hmm.
coming up. So yeah, yeah,
He even played
yeah, I
in the
totally
playoffs with the
disagree with
Clippers,
that. Like
dude.
I'm
Like
with you.
Shea is he's got experience, he got playoff experience, all of that. And then Lou Dort was on that team before, you know, they started rebuilding. He's still around. He's still a major piece, and he's only like 25 or some shit. So like this whole thing about they started their rebuild at the same time as us, I don't buy it. Like they started it before ours. And credit to them, they killed it. Like I'm not trying to take that away from them. Amazing rebuild. I don't know if we'll be where they're at. I don't know if we'll be where they're at next year, where they're at this year. You know what I'm saying? Just
Yeah.
because they started a year
For
early. I feel like they've been rebuilding better than we have. But I just
for
wanted to call that
me
out.
to yeah, for me to make things short, fuck OKC. Like uh we're not giving these motherfuckers no credit, and like their fans are some of the worst, bro. So I'm just gonna leave it there. Fuck them.
Some of their fans are the worst. And we've had to deal with some of the worst, especially because we had that MVP race between Westbrook and Harden. We need to talk about that one episode. We need to break that
Yeah.
down. Maybe in the offseason when we have nothing else to talk about. But yeah,
Okay.
they do have some of the worst fans, but they also have some of the best fans. Like it sucks for Seattle that they lost their team, but like I know so many people in Oklahoma because I lived there for a year. I know so many people from Oklahoma who are like die-hard fans of the Thunder. Like they really, because they don't have a football team, they don't have a baseball team, so they're all about the Thunder.
Yep.
I respect it, but yeah, at the same time, fuck OKC. So we'll wrap it on that. Thanks for tuning in. Subscribe on YouTube. Follow us on Twitter. Yeah, I'm not gonna throw in all the handles again, but take it easy. Go Rockets. Peace.